I want y'all to just listen to the 2 clues that I've gathered from last week's episode, well, the other day's episode, that leads me to believe that your boy Ronnie came home as a gay man, right? He's left-handed now, which is what the homie Getting How I Live would say. He's left-handed. Now, unless we see him interact with a woman, which still wouldn't prove he was straight, it would only prove that he was bi. But I believe that he came home as a gay man. Now, personally, I don't have no issues with nobody who's living the alternative lifestyle. It's none of my business. You love who you love. Everybody has a right to love whoever they love. But for the sake of argument, I want to argue how Ronnie came home left-handed, and it had to have happened while he was in jail. We're going to break it down and get to the bottom of it. Also, I want to say this. Go ahead, subscribe to the channel if you've been here and you ain't subscribed yet. Go ahead and like the video, right? Because we're going to get into some humor, but also some facts from the episode. Also, if you're watching or listening to this video right now, it means that this video was able to be monetized, right? Because if this video ain't get monetized, it wouldn't be out right now. But like I said, let's get to Ronnie in episode 2 of Raising Kanan season 3. Okay, so you got Ronnie, right? Ronnie is home. He spends the whole first episode, right? He comes home from jail. He comes home from prison. He did 3 or 4 years. He's sitting down watching TV, eating cereal, talking all this, I ain't want my cereal to get soggy, right? All this other stuff. He already weird. He don't seem to be in a good mood, even though he came home from prison. That's the first sign that his mind is mentally warped. There's something wrong with him. You're home from prison and you're not in a good mood. It don't matter what's going on. You're not in a good mood. I'm sure Freeway Rick Ross, who was robbed of millions of dollars while he was locked up, came home that first day and still had a smile on his face. I'm sure he did. Me personally, when I came home from prison, I touched the ground, but I damn near kissed the ground. You know what I'm saying? It was a nice winter day. The sun was out. Like, it was a real nice day. You know what I'm saying? I was leaving Queensboro, right? But anyway, Queensboro is a facility, by the way, not the borough of Queens, right? But, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, he's not in a good mood. He's already weird. Now you go to episode 2 now, right? You go to episode 2. It's been about 2 weeks, clarified by Unique, who was talking to Raquel, and he said, hey, listen, we've been smashing for 2 weeks and blah, 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 blah. So you're telling me in 2 weeks, Ronnie ain't going to clap no cheeks? He ain't want to get no action? He just being a weirdo? He just sitting in the living room in the dark, like Unique Babe Mother said, staring at the TV, but the TV ain't on? What is wrong with this dude? My theory is that he had his booty taken away from him. He had his booty taken away from him, and it warped his reality, man. It warped him. And now, according to Unique, he was always a little off before he went to prison. But still, right? Unique ain't say Ronnie was never into girls. Ronnie ain't never liked girls like that, or Ronnie was left-handed. We don't know this about Ronnie. Unique ain't never say anything except the fact that Ronnie is a little bit off. He always used to watch his stories and stuff like that, right? So,
South Carolina homeowners, if your roof is leaking, damaged, or even if it's just old, you can save any.
The next 2 things, matter of fact, the next thing we want to discuss, right? Which led me to believe, right, that Ronnie is left-handed, right? Ronnie likes men now. Like I said, it's his prerogative. The writers can write him however they want. It's cool, you know what I'm saying? It's cool. Feel me? We had like an Omar type of character. We all know that what's the name, father? I mean, dude from OG Power, Felipe Lobos, right? Felipe Lobos was gay, great character, right? Still a demon on Demon Time. But you get Ronnie, right? You get Ronnie, and now we going to the club. First off, Ronnie going out of his way to be weird. Aside from, you know what I'm saying, possibly being a gay man, he goes out of his way to be weird. We going to the club. You know we going to the club, right? Why are you dressed like Mr. Rogers and we going to the club? Why are you dressed like a middle-aged white man on the train in the 90s? Going home to Bronxdale and you going to the club, right? Weird. And we all know episode 3, he gonna kill that bouncer because the bouncer took it too far, right? But what let me know without a shadow of a doubt that Ronnie, who might be Breeze, and if, like I said, if Breeze was gay, that'd just be an extra element. You know what I'm saying? That would even make him more sinister, right? It'd be cool, right? Personally, if you ask me. But what let me know he was left-handed was after he gets offended by the bouncer and still decides to go in the club, by the way, he then becomes somebody who don't care about the music, don't care about having a good time, hardly drinking. Unique sends the girls his way. By the way, 2 of them girls had BBLs. If y'all gonna do these shows set in the 90s, I know they edited it pretty quick, but I know the women's anatomy very well. You know what I'm saying? I always passed that grade. I always passed that subject in school, right? Anatomy, women's anatomy, right? So I seen it was 2 BBL chicks. We don't want to see that in our 90s shows and movies. We don't want to see that. But anyways, what let me know Ronnie was a gay man was the fact that he got so upset at the bouncer, still sits down, he hardly drinks, and then once 2, 3, 4 women are all over him, he says, "Get off me." Mind you, the man been home 2, 3 weeks, and you ain't getting no cheeks because you ain't say nothing about it. You too tightly wound up. Why are you so upset that the women are touching you? And I don't want nobody in the comments to say, well, he was just annoyed by the bouncer, because then I gotta challenge that with this. I've been annoyed by plenty of men in my life. Plenty of men have said things that upset me. Plenty of men have, not plenty of men have disrespected me, but I've been disrespected by men before, right? And I've not been in jail while it happened. And there's no man in history who's, for one, gonna come straight home, go 2 weeks willingly without sleeping with a woman, right? And then you're gonna get offended by a man in the club and then not be interested in the women around you? This makes no sense. I don't want to hear nothing about because he got OCD or none of that. Oh, word, you got OCD? Then you put a condom on. That's it. Like, the man likes men. And it's okay.
You ain't got no honey nut.
What do you see?
What's up, y'all? It's Nate Almighty, a.k.a. the guy who just possibly made this theory even greater and blew it out the water. Holla at me, man. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Now, let me tell y'all something, man. When The Wire came out, I was 14, 15 years old. I was in a place called Spofford Juvenile Correctional Facility in the Bronx. That's where I was. I was doing juvie time when The Wire came out. So I never got into The Wire. I never seen The Wire. I never seen the whole series. Never got into it. Well, the inspiration for this theory was brought to me by someone in the comment section. I seen 2 or 3 people mention that in the show The Wire, right, the gay gangster Omar has an infatuation with Cheerios, and he was putting a correlation between that and Ronnie. And you know what? I'm gonna say that we probably just blew this whole thing out of the water, man. Did I really become the only person to predict the orientation of Ronnie? And I know there are people in the comment section who They just have a big, huge problem with if Ronnie is left-handed. But it's like, you guys loved Omar. So why Ronnie can't be the person too? I mean, you got to think about it. This is a clear Easter egg. We've seen how serious Ronnie is. And I seen how serious Ronnie was about the Honey Nut Cheerios before I went on YouTube and seen the scene with Omar and the Honey Nut Cheerios. I did not know that scene existed. I only knew a little bit about Omar because when Omar came out, I was 15 years old, and that was the first time I ever heard of a gay character being portrayed as a gangster in a crime drama. But now look, we got Ronnie. Ronnie got Honey Nut Cheerios, and this is a clear Easter egg and a reference to The Wire. A clear reference to The Wire, okay? And also, somebody has said that the guy who played Dean, he got killed in a similar faction on The Wire. I didn't even know that guy was in The Wire. I did not even know. So this is what we got to look at. We got to look at, are the writers secretly telling us that not only Ronnie is left-handed, but does he really have a connection to Defcon? These are the questions we have to ask. We for sure got to ask these questions. Because if this comes out of being true, do you guys realize that I'm the MVP of theories for Raising Kanan for season 3? Do you guys realize this? I really need you guys to realize this. And another thing, right? Y'all better believe, y'all better hope, like for you guys that are against having any more male gangsters be gay within the Power universe, even though they've shown it to us multiple times, y'all better pray. Y'all better pray that it's Ronnie that's left-handed. Because now they got me thinking that if it's not Ronnie, it's still a subtle reference that Breeze might be gay. Of all the talks we heard about Breeze, nobody mentioned Breeze's orientation, but nobody said he had a girl either. Nobody said he had nobody said he had a kid either. How tight will y'all be, right? You bigots in the comment section, right? You guys that are against the left-handed gangsters in black crime shows, right? How irate are y'all gonna be if it comes out that Breeze is left-handed? How irate are y'all gonna be? And look at this right here, damn it. For all of you who are in my comment section, right? Trying to say that I'm sus. Trying to say that I'm wishing for Ronnie to be gay, right? Like I got some kind of fantasy about it, or like I'm trying to project who I am into the screen. What is this then? Because to me, this seems to be undeniable proof that Ronnie is in fact left-handed. And if you ask me, I'm here for it, man. I think it creates a different kind of dynamic to the person who Ronnie is. I know a lot of you bigots out there, y'all act like from a writing perspective, right? Because you guys are not writers and you don't understand the depths you could take a character, right? When you present this super masculine character like they're doing, right? This ACD, he may even be autistic, right? When they present this kind of character, this straight and narrow character, and then they give you a twist of him being left-handed, people don't understand the dynamics that this adds to his character. People don't understand, right? The different ways this show could take this character, and I feel like Ronnie being gay makes the show and the dynamic of his character even better, okay? But you cannot deny that Ronnie is left-handed now. It's just what I'm trying to tell you people, okay? We see now Ronnie go, first of all, we seen Ronnie come home, not be interested in women at all. What was you people's excuses, right? The excuse was, oh, he worried about his money. He ain't worried. That's why he ain't worried about no chicks. Y'all thinking the wrong thing. You thinking the wrong thing, Nate Almighty. And my response was this. Hey, the amount of time that Ronnie served in prison, I served that time in prison. And I was in there beating my meat every chance I had, right? Having girls visit me, right? I'm trying to put my hands in places that they ain't supposed to be. I'm risking getting caught by the guards. I came home. My number one thing was to find a place to have relations. That is on every man's mind. No man is different. That's what I tried to tell y'all. That's what I tried to tell y'all. What did people say? Nah, no. That's not Ronnie. That's not Ronnie. Ronnie is straight. As if it makes his character flawed or bad if he happens to like men. Y'all are used to seeing men kiss men on these gangster shows already. Stop it. How many of y'all watched Drew make out with that dude the last season of Power? We all seen it. So now when you have him sitting here alone in the house with Juliana, who is clearly sexually frustrated, right? We have not seen Trayvon. We have not seen Abraham. It's very likely that they wrote them guys out of the show, or maybe it'll come back into play later on, maybe, but they're probably just gone, or they're just in DC, so it's irrelevant. But we've seen Juliana kiss all over Ronnie, kiss him in the mouth. Ronnie is not fazed at all. We see Juliana rub her hands between Ronnie's legs. Mind you, Ronnie has been home for weeks. Walking around like Michael Myers, dressed like Carlton in the 1994 episode of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He has shown no interest in women at all. And you people are trying to say that Ronnie is not left-handed. What else do you need to see after this point? Okay? Let me explain something to y'all, okay? Ronnie is a black man in New York City. New York City in the 90s, especially now, but in the 90s, is a place that is heavily populated by Hispanic women. Any black man from New York City that grew up around Spanish women will tell you, okay? Okay? Hispanic women, right? Dominican women, Puerto Rican women, Colombian women, like Juliana, they are a delicacy to black men in New York City. One might even say they are our kryptonite, okay? One of my first loves was a Puerto Rican woman. She broke my heart. But yeah, like I'm saying, the fact that Ronnie does not want this woman. And then here's another thing, right? Juliana is sexy, okay? She's thick. She's beautiful. Beautiful long hair. She's super duper fine. And Ronnie just someone who we haven't seen her with a more beautiful woman than her. Juliana is the most beautiful woman that has made an advance on Ronnie the entire season. Y'all telling me Ronnie is not gay? Also, he keeps eating Cheerios just like another gangster, left-handed person from another legendary crime show. Omar. I believe I rest my case. I have uncovered the reason why Ronnie is so violent and aggressive and deadly, and why he goes out of his way to be feared. And it's because he learned this tactic of instilling fear from none other than Defcon himself, as a survival tactic in the streets in order to remain a big dog in the drug game. This will also explain why Ronnie doesn't smoke or drink, just like Defcon, and much more will be revealed. So you gotta stay to the end of this video to find out, as I explain more details about Defcon and Ronnie's relationship that everyone, including you, is overlooking. Now this video is going to be yet another banger. So go ahead and like this video and subscribe to this channel so y'all can get this fire every day. And since you know you love this content, you can support this channel by sending a donation to the Cash App JPeterson91 or blessing your brother with a super thanks right above the comment section in your phone. Thanks in advance. Now without further ado, let's get to it. All right, people. So let's break this down like this. Now, I don't know how much more evidence people need to believe that Ronnie likes men. Rock was very surprised to hear he had a girlfriend from Prenessa. Rock, who was Defcon's fake girlfriend and would know, right, about Defcon or Ronnie through Defcon. And we can definitely tell that Prenessa is clueless about everything, which was a good choice by Unique to not involve her in the drug business. We seen him almost completely turn, and I mean Ronnie, completely turn Juliana down after having nothing but space and all the opportunity in the world to clap those cheeks. He may have been relieved that Prenessa came home at that very moment, giving him an excuse. We've seen him be home for around 2 months now and not even mention wanting to spend time with a woman. We've seen him be infuriated by the idea of a bunch of women stepping to him and filling him up in the club. And we seen Pop Henry almost squeeze the truth out of him in episode 8. If you're not at least entertaining the idea that Ronnie could be into men, then you might just be a bigot who hates seeing gay men on screen so much and is so bothered by it, which is weird, that you would rather lie to yourself instead of accepting this for what it is and still appreciating how great Ronnie's character is, because his orientation does not take away from how greatly written and developed he is on this show. I haven't seen the Wire series, but I am aware that Omar was not only a gay man, but is said to be one of the best villains in TV history. A character's preference shouldn't be important to you. How good the character is and how well that character is written and how they affect the plot should be important to you. And Ronnie is a damn good character regardless. Now, with that being said, when you come from the kind of background that I come from, when you learn to read between the lines and study people and their actions, growing up in the hood, you will in fact notice that it's very foolish, maybe even outright stupid, to automatically rule out any hyper-masculine, hyper-aggressive, hyper-violent gangster in the street as a straight man, simply because he has the capacity to kill. If you think that, I'm sorry, you don't understand people enough, you're kind of an idiot. Just work on that. Just work on it. It's okay. You're not a bad person, but just work on that. In fact, their willingness to be so violent and aggressive could be because they are actively trying to overcompensate for something. So here's the basis for my theory, y'all. I am from the streets of Cortland and Park Avenue in the South Bronx. And during my lifetime, there have been many times in the hood where the gangbangers, the drug dealers, shooters, jack boys, etc., right, ended up being exposed for hooking up with men in prison, especially the big homies with the most clout, okay? Because booty is a currency in maximum prisons, if you're not aware of this, right? If your big homie or the guy who did all the time in prison that you look up to, who did all this time, I'm talking about 10 years and better in prison, he's not going to tell you that booty is a currency in maximum prisons, and he may have partaken in that currency, right? Some of these men get exposed for sleeping with people in the trans community. Some of these guys have baby mamas, who have gay friends, who end up sleeping with the men they have a child with. If you have your eyes on the streets in the hood, you have witnessed this happen at least 3 times in your lifetime if you're around 30 like me, okay? I personally know a shooter or two who have already been exposed, but nobody says anything to them to their face, and they only talk about them behind their back because they know they will kill them. All these men deal with internal struggles, trying to still present as masculine men while they deal with who they really are on the inside. I also want to add, right, that if you talk to people and you understand people's stories from the hood who may have grown up in single parent households, then you will also understand that a lot of times, whether male or female, right, the children end up being taken advantage of by the boyfriend of the single mother if she isn't home enough or paying enough attention to the child because she's either working or she's running the streets. Mind you, we're talking about the 90s. So a lot of these people's mothers were crackheads or on heroin, right? Right? And this is where Defcon and Ronnie come into play. I have videos detailing why I think Defcon and Ronnie were lovers. Ronnie has some kind of loyalty and admiration for Defcon that still is yet to be fully explained. If these men were in fact lovers, then Ronnie would have had to be underaged, which is also not far-fetched, especially considering all we know about grooming and how the 90s were.
K-12 makes going back to school easy. We deliver an education that takes your child beyond the classroom.
The 90s were. Grown men would openly pick up high school girls after school. But I want to now speak on the possibility of Defcon just being Ronnie's mentor at that time instead of a grooming lover, because it's possible they won't do that because we already have Howard as being that person. Okay? So this relationship would be more likely the relationship that Defcon and Ronnie had when it all comes out, with them both being young black men who probably grew up in homes raised by single mothers. They would have not had any father in the home to help them understand what real masculinity is. So with Defcon being older than Ronnie, he would have been able to watch Ronnie's movements growing up and immediately be able to tell that Ronnie was just like him on the inside. And instead of being a predator, he would take Ronnie under the wing and they would share their biggest secrets with each other. And Defcon would explain to Ronnie that in order to keep your respect and reputation in the game, it's important to make sure your secret never gets out, right? He would also explain to Ronnie that keeping people afraid of you is how you keep the rumors down to a manageable level, right? This same tactic of fear and violence has been used by many street thugs who have gotten exposed eventually, and also by certain serial killers who've even lived life publicly with women, but expressed their inner urges through their awful acts. I remember a serial killer by the name of Wayne Gacy or John Gacy. This was a man who worked for the political party out in the open. He had a wife and children, right? But he came on to men and he abused men before killing them and hiding their bodies in his backyard, right? This would also explain Ronnie's emphasis on being feared himself and why he pointed out how much Defcon was feared as well. This would also mean that Ronnie knows for a fact that that Kanan is not Defcon's son. But because of his admiration for Defcon, he goes out of his way to protect Kanan and keep Defcon's secrets safe. And I'm here for a very controversial season 4 theory of Raising Kanan. And what I got here are the 7 hidden and not so hidden, in your face clues that Ronnie Myers Mathis was whatever, a gay man, and it will be revealed in some kind of way in season 4. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is because over the past couple days, I've had people in my comment section be more in denial than a real man in real life who is on the down low about his persuasion, okay? All these clues we had, some of them is overlooked, some of them are not overlooked, that Ronnie was left-handed. And I got people in the comment section who have the audacity, the gall, to say silly things like, why do you want Ronnie to be gay so bad? What does that mean? What are you saying about yourself? Like the most foolish things, right? And my question is this: why is it such a big deal if Ronnie was, right? There's real hitters in real life who are gay, right? There's official people, there's dangerous people in real life who are gay, and the signs in your face, not to mention, this is power. Have y'all forgotten, and I'm speaking to those particular people, right? Have you forgotten that every series of Power, right, gives us some kind of boss, some kind of serious person that has some kind of gay tendency? Like, for instance, right, in book 2, we had Pinky. Pinky is clearly trans. And of course, nobody ready to see somebody trans get into it, right? But going to Force, we had Claudia. Going into OG Power, we had Lobos. And some people are going to say, yo, man, Lobos did men and women. Listen, man, y'all know how it is, especially in the black community. Whether you do it with both men and women or just men, we call you gay. Y'all know that already, okay? And we have not seen any kind of real official in-your-face gay presence on Raising Kanan yet, but y'all gotta understand that this is still set in the 90s and gay people moved a certain kind of way. But you know what? Without further ado, let's get into it, man. These are the 7 hidden clues, and at the same time, not so hidden clues, obviously in your face clues, that Ronnie Myers Mathis is a gay man, and it will be revealed in season 4. Let's get to it. Reason number 1. Ronnie was never known for getting women. There was no drug dealer getting money in the 90s who did not indulge in the many options of women that were available. He was basically the man before he went to prison. Came home to no women, plus didn't try to get any. There was no man who was making any kind of money or drugs, any kind of success, and did not have any women around him. We talking about the 90s in New York, especially if you're from New York, you know, but anywhere where you was in the hood, the slums, and the men sold drugs, if he was only making $500 a week, he still had honeys, he still had chicks, and he still was trying to get, right, his eggplant wet. But moving on to number 2, right? Since y'all so in denial, right? Ronnie came home and never attempted to get any women. There is no logical excuse for this other than being gay or severely traumatized from childhood, maybe. But most people who were abused as children are known to grow up and actually, on the other side, be hypersexual, right? Such as the many men who grew up in the hood and got a whole bunch of extra baby mothers, right? The Futures, the Chief Keefs in the hood, right? You gotta believe that there's a chance that they went through something. And then we talking about the young women who unfortunately went through something, how they end up being streetwalkers, they end up being strippers, right? And that's if the writers were going the whole he was traumatized and that's why route, right? But even trauma does not stop people from indulging in human nature, which is having a sexual orientation and indulging in their sexual desires. But we didn't see Ronnie do it. Why? What are y'all gonna say? Oh, because he was focused on the bag. You could be focused on the bag for 24 hours of the day. You could still find 5 minutes to deal with a woman, just like every man's gonna do. Are we ignoring like a real man's nature just because y'all want Ronnie to be straight that bad? Because if y'all find out he gay, then that means his character is trash? Or you like the character so much and then you found out he was gay? It's not that big a deal. He's still a greatly written character. He's still a menacing character. But let's move on to number 3, right? For all you in denial people, right? And these are only men who are in denial about this, right? Even though we all from the hood, and in the hood, they call you gay for less, right? But let's move on to number 3. Ronnie never really dated Juliana. Power is big on sex scenes. If Ronnie was hitting that, they would have shown us. But instead, they shown him turning down Juliana's advances, right? She tried Ronnie and failed to sleep with him. Y'all seen the scenes. She was touching all over him, right? She was saying, I want you to make me feel good. I want you to feel good. She tried to turn it into a scene out of Monsters Ball, damn it, right? She thought she was Hallie and Ronnie was Billy Bob. That's what she thought. Y'all seen how Ronnie was looking at that woman, right? He didn't even go out of his way to kiss her, but yet there's people in the comment section saying, yo, man, Juliana hit that. Juliana said Ronnie told Pop that he was with Juliana. They were never together. She was trying to. And if she would have lived longer, it probably would have been a storyline where she would have been questioning him as to why you don't want to sleep with me. Now, in my expert power opinion, Ronnie was deprived of a mother's love from a very, very young age. And he found some kind of paternal energy coming from Juliana that he wanted to be around, right? Other than that, Juliana was thick. She was attractive. He would have been all over her. If they intended for Ronnie to be 100% straight and for us to not even question it, they would have had a love scene. Period. That's number 3. Now moving on to number 4.
Hey everyone, interrupting your research with huge news.
Is it the new iPhone 16 Pro?
Yes. How'd you know?
It's on the screen.
Should have got that.
Anyway, the incredible new iPhone 16 Pro is built from the ground up for Apple Intelligence.
That's number 3. Now moving on to number 4. Rock was surprised as hell when she heard from Pernessa that Ronnie had a girlfriend. She probably always known in the first place that Ronnie was left-handed, and we just may find out, as I've said before in many videos, we just may find out that Ronnie and Defcon did a little something together. We just might find that out. You don't believe me? Go look at Rock's face when Pernessa says that Ronnie got a girlfriend. Go look at Rock's face in episode 8 of season 3. And this is the type of situation to where Unique back in the 90s, right, would definitely be in denial about it. And he wouldn't tell Pernessa Ronnie business even if he questioned Ronnie's sexual orientation, right? But that's number 4. Moving on to number 5 of these obvious clues that you people like to ignore. And I'm not talking about everyone, but those specific people, right? The way Ronnie flipped on them girls in the club with Unique was some of the gayest stuff I ever seen, okay? Mind you, this man just came home from prison. What other logical excuse could there be that he been home for more than 24 hours and did not try to get laid, right? And if you've never been to prison, right, maybe you can't relate, but I've been to prison. And maybe you know people who've been to prison. You ask them how long they trying to wait if they went 2-3 years and better without sleeping with a woman. You tell me, right? Boom. Right? This man just came home from prison. What other logical excuse could there be? you would have to totally disregard both the nature of a man, especially one who just came home from prison days ago, and the fact that the show is based on 90s era drug dealers who were all definitely running through tons of women during this era. And now, number 6, right, which may be the most damning information and proof that Ronnie liked men, we gotta understand that there's a big reason for us to believe that Pop knows something and was inquisitive of Ronnie, right? And was seen questioning him about why he never had a real girlfriend. And when you listen to Ronnie explain to himself to Pop, does that seem like a man who gets women? We talking about, right? And I'm gonna say pause, but I'm also not blind, and neither are the rest of the viewers, right? We talking about someone who is a tall, dark-skinned, right, handsome man who talks to Pop and says he don't remember the name of his girlfriend, saying he only had one girl before. She says, so you never really had a girlfriend before? She's questioning him in a way of that older woman who already suspects something of you, and she giving you enough rope to hang yourself, right? That's how she was talking to Ronnie, right? As if she already knew. She trying to get him to slip up or giving him some leeway because she thinking maybe I might be wrong, right? That's Pop. And last but not least, number 7. Ronnie was portrayed as a serial killer. Prolific serial killers in American history, like John Wayne Gacy and Jeffrey Dahmer, amongst others, and I'm not saying all serial killers, but amongst others, right, were known to be gay. Ronnie gave Pernessa a chance, gave Jukebox a chance, and even gave Rock a chance until she messed with his money, right? But along with the MO of a lot of serial killers, Ronnie only killed men and did not give them any chances at all. They crossed him or made him upset, and then they died. He would have dealt with Unique earlier if he wasn't his little brother that he had a soft spot for. And that, my friends, are the 7 clues that people are ignoring that prove to us that Ronnie, 90%, there's a 90% chance that Ronnie will be exposed as gay